Kristina Gronquist about her community activity, and she ran on the fifth district, representative of the Green Party. Tell us a little bit about this was an uphill challenge and fight, and why did you find the urge to run in that district and representing the Green Party?
Well, I was highlighting some kind of three major issues that had struck me in the city as extremely unfair. And one of them was the lack of community and citizen involvement in being able to decide on money for the stadium, which is old news, I suppose. By now we've already got the stadium.
Twice.
But it's an issue I had worked on in the 90s, and the vote, citizens were supposed to be polled in a referendum, and citizens of Minneapolis were supposed to be able to vote on the public financing for a stadium or not, and that was bypassed, and which was illegal, and which was shown to be illegal later after the election. Also, I was upset because the Civilian Review Authority had been disbanded, and that was the Civilian Review Authority that oversaw police misconduct in the city, and it was a very important agency. It was an oversight agency of the Minneapolis police. That was an issue too, that very important agency was disbanded, and also neighborhood group funding then had been also gutted. These were all issues of transparency, a lack of transparency, and lack of accountability. The police issue, the police misconduct issue, came home to me in a very stark way when May 10th, 2013, a friend that my daughter had gone to school with, grade school with, and who had lived in our neighborhood, was shot by the Minneapolis police. And he was shot 10 times. He was unarmed. And when that happened, his name is Terrence Franklin, and I became extremely involved at that point, working in a campaign.
How did he get it started, and why?
Pardon?
How did he get it shot?
Well, what happened is he was stopped by the police. They accused him of being involved in a burglary, or that's why they stopped him. He was allegedly involved in a burglary, or he was a suspect, they believed. And he ran from the police, and he hid in a basement. And a SWAT team came out. Our police are very militarized folks these days. And
macho.
Very much so. And they had chased him for a while. They were angry. They raced down into this basement when they realized he was down there, and then he was shot 10 times. There's the police version that says that he grabbed their guns. Somehow he was able to grab these guns off these big guys and try to shoot back at them, but there's two versions of the story.
As usually the case. But
yes.
What I'm saying, this is a very typical story that we have about dealing with young black men.
Yes.
That the police look at them as dangerous, and
right.
I know now that it's an Arab young Arab man, terrorist, whatever. So what is this? We've been fighting this and talking about this for years since I came here. Since when Boza was the head of the police, 34 years ago, we're still talking about police brutality.
Yes.
Dealing with the minority. Is this a culture? Is this how the system works? The police job is to keep black people in jail?
It's certainly Minneapolis, speaking just for Minneapolis. Minneapolis has paid out about $17 million in lawsuits just over the last several years. And there is a lawsuit that's being filed on behalf of Terrence by his father.
Long time.
Pardon?
How long has this been?
Well, he was shot May 10th, 2013. So it's been about a
This
year.
is very recent.
It's been about a year.
Yeah.
And the police that shot him were, basically exonerated, and they're still out there driving around. And there's been no accountability. And so, while this incident was happening, and the aftermath of it, which was, quite traumatic, obviously, for Terrence's friends and family and people in the African American community. At the same time, the ruling had come out on Trayvon Martin, and there was no justice in that case as well. Working with other activists in North Minneapolis on the Justice for Terrence Franklin Committee, attending rallies, what I decided to do in my campaign was to move police misconduct and racial justice kind of up to the top of my issues. And it wasn't an issue that was addressed by the other candidates in my ward or addressed very much at all. It's a tough issue to take on, and it is it's maybe one of the reasons I didn't win. But I felt right doing it. It was the right thing to do, was to speak out for justice for Terrence and all the other victims of police misconduct in Minneapolis.
It seems like the average voter in America, looks at violence in a skewed way. Violence only comes from the non-white, from colored people, and usually the right, when you bring this issue, they bring it as a threat, as we are trying to put law and order and all that. So you're coming from the other side, and you're representing those victims. That's over and over again end up a young African person being shot needlessly and dying, and nobody.
I think what happens, and it happened with Terrence, and it happens with not just with people of color either, in terms of police shooting people who perhaps they have committed a crime, and so, but at the same time, we're supposed to be people are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. We're not supposed to be. The police are not supposed to act as judge, jury, and executioner. People are supposed to be apprehended, arrested, and then tried in a court of law. And what's happening is people are just being shot, and then because the media is doing character assassinations on the people, or because the people do have records, it's a lot of folks are like, well, who cares? It's the bad guys anyway, as if redemption isn't possible.
Well, the Christian nation, I don't know what, sometimes I get this confused about these people. They go after the abortion and they want to save the unborn child, but in the same token, they support capital punishment. They support
this kind of police
heavy-handed
police abuse.
And from you as a white Caucasian woman, and you are adapting those kind of issues, would you be accepted with the African American community, or all the people will be? I don't know about the 5th district. Who's your constituents there?
Well, it definitely was difficult in the sense that, in my ward, of course, there were African Americans in my ward and people of color. I would talk to them about my issues. I'd talk about Terrence, and I'd talk about police misconduct. They all got it right away. I mean, everybody got it. Everybody was right there. But these are also constituencies that don't vote because they've pretty much given up on the system.
I'm sure we'll have you here again. Would you run again?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. It's always an option. Well, thank you so much for coming, Kristina.
Thank you for having me.
She is 5th District Green Party representative, community activist, and she's not going to
Not going to give
lie
up.
down and give up. And so we'll talk to her when she is actually running for something who can vote for her. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Okay, done.
Great. Well, good. I hope
Thank
I
you so
didn't do
much.
too much.
طبعا لان تقريبا 70% من الشعب بينزل يصوت بيستجيب لدعوه التيارات الاسلاميه، سواء بسبب الخطاب الديني لان احنا مجتمع مفترض ان هو مجتمع محافظ ومجتمع متدين، او لان
السيسي والجنرال اللي بيخوض انتخابات محسومه يعني مسبقا والقصه خلصانه. هو انا شايف تحديدا ان الاشكاليه ديت كانت اكتر اشكاليه ضرته في اليومين اللي فاتوا مع بدايه الاستحقاق الانتخابي اللي حصل في البلد.
السياسيه الثانيه حركه زي حركه 6 ابريل، حركه جماعه ضغط ليها توجه مدني، توجه علماني، ومع ذلك مقاطعه بسبب اعتقال قيادتها. مرشحين الرئاسه السابقين على الاقل يعني البارزين منهم زي خالد علي او الفتوح، وخالد علي معروف ان هو بتوجهه يساري.
الايام نفسها في وسط الاسبوع، مش مثلا اول الاسبوع او اخر الاسبوع، ممكن ناس كتير جدا تقدر انها تاخد يوم اجازه، ممكن يعني قلت درجات الحراره الناس كتير جدا اتكلموا فيها، لدرجه ان احنا النهارده يعني انتظرنا قرار جريء من سعاده الدكتور محلب ان هو يبقى في قرار من مجلس الوزراء بتخفيض درجه الحراره بكره يعني.
طيب انت نفسك رحت انتخبت؟
لا طبعا انا طبعا مقتنع بفكره المقاطعه، وفكره المقاطعه بتفقد النظام شرعيته.
طبعا انا ما نزلتش انتخبت لان دي مسرحيه معروف النتيجه بتاعتها. بالنسبه لان انا اخويا معتقل، فكل الحاجات بقى الدم والقتل والتفكير بالحاجات اللي حصلت كلها ظاهره قدامي.
ان الجيش اخطا نفس الخطا اللي عمله الاخوان ان هم رشحوا ممثل في الرئاسه.
اعتقد ان السيسي هيخسر تاريخه، وحسني مبارك قبل كده خسر تاريخه العسكري وكان من قاده حرب اكتوبر لما قعد في السلطه وما قدرش يحل المشاكل وتورط في الفساد.
المشهد بالنسبه لي ان كان من الافضل ان المشيع فتح السيسي كان ينتهي عند المرحله اللي هو انتهى عليها، ونشتغل سياسه او نقدم طرح تاني مختلف.
الناس لو ما كانش الجيش والعسكر اتدخلوا كان ممكن ده كفيل ان محمد مرسي يستجيب للشعب ويدعو لانتخابات مبكره او يتنحى.
يعني طب هو حمدين صباحي هيقدم ايه؟ وايه المشروع اللي عنده اللي هو هيقدمه؟
حتى صمتنا بيرعبكم فلنراقب بصمت.
يعني العسكر ما تدخلوش، اللي عملوا الاخوان في 80 سنه كانوا هيهدموه باخطائهم الجسيمه.
يعني الجيل بتاعي كله وصل للقناعه ديت ان احنا كلنا بنتلعب بينا، احنا ما بنرسمش مستقبل بلد ولا بنرسم مستقبلنا، احنا اللي بيترسم لنا وبالطريقه اللي هم عايزينها.